Welcome to the Pastor's Comments. Written by Pastor Daniel Lundmark. This week's comment is entitled, When Christian Believers Die. Do born again, John chapter 3 verses 7 through 16, Christian believers immediately go to heaven when they die. The Bible teaches that as believers in Christ, when we die, our bodies go to the grave until the first resurrection, but our spirits immediately go to heaven. The Apostle Paul was assured of this truth. He declared, "We are confident, I say, and willing rather to be absent from the body, and to be present with the Lord." 2 Corinthians chapter 5 verse 8. He knew that when he died he would be immediately in the presence of the Lord, stating that he had a desire to depart, and to be with Christ. Philippians chapter 1 verse 23. Jesus promised the thief on the cross who believed on him, "Today shalt thou be with me in paradise." Luke chapter 23 verse 43. In the story of the rich man and Lazarus, Jesus said, "The beggar died, and was carried by the angels into Abraham's bosom." Luke chapter 16 verse 22. Jesus makes it clear that these were not annihilated, as some falsely teach. They did not remain in some unconscious soul sleep state, and they did not enter some intermediate purgatory state. Instead, they immediately entered into the presence of the Lord. In the story of the first Christian martyr, we get a glimpse of what happens when believers die. At his death, Stephen looked up steadfastly into heaven, and saw the glory of God, and Jesus standing on the right hand of God. Acts chapter 7 verse 55. Jesus was standing ready to welcome Stephen into his presence immediately upon his death. Perhaps you are wondering what happens to the non-believer immediately after death. In the story of the rich man and Lazarus, Jesus stated, "The rich man also died, and was buried. And in hell he lifted up his eyes, being in torments." Luke chapter 16 verses 22 and 23. To avoid the horrible future of those who do not believe in Jesus Christ, who is the only way to heaven, please see www.naogws/thua.htm.